Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of Bitcoin, taking a look at what has been going on most recently and what might actually happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe. Tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you have not yet joined us in Discord, guys, you are missing a trick. It is the first place we go to notify you of all of the ins and the outs of everything that is going on in this space. So do check it out, linked in the description below. It is completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. Okay, let's get into this. Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is our data source here. And, I just want to kind of zoom out just for a fraction here and just see if we can make sense out of some of these structures. And, for the most part, I think we are getting into a pretty interesting spot now. And, I think it's probably worth reflecting on what has happened so far and what this might mean. So let's go ahead and just jump down into this structure here. Now, in here, we do have this really kind of impulsive movement to the upside. Okay, it's very, very clear. We have this kind of move here. Okay, we pull back down and we're looking to push back up. So it does look like we have the start of a trend. Okay, now it can invalidate and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to draw a couple of lines on here. And actually, before we talk about that, we did actually come down to this dash line from the June low, and we'll turn that back into a support level. You can see that right in there. And we have gone above the $18,000 level. Actually, no, straight up to 18,000 exactly, which is just short of our 1.618. But we're going to not be a complete purist about it. We're within a few cents, so I'm going to take that as our existing high point right there at $18,000. Okay, this dash line here at 17,622 is the June low. I'm going to remove some of these other ones. I don't necessarily need them all on there, so I'm just going to remove them. I'll also remove these two little areas here as well. Okay, and I'm going to remove this, but I'm going to leave the 5-wave structure here. Okay, what I want to do is I want to put a little dash line right here, and I'm going to make it red because this is going to be our invalidation line. Okay, so basically, $17,360 is our invalidation out of a slightly bigger, larger 5-wave structure. So if I actually go ahead and clean out some of this stuff, and we just start to make this a little bit more sense, we end up with this kind of 1, 2, 3 kind of scenario. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw this on. We'll go 1, 2, 3, potentially 4, and then up into 5. Okay, now when we zoom out of this, what do we see? Well, we see 3 waves going up, 3 waves coming down, 5 waves going up. So 3, 3, 5 overall, and this is our B wave movement, and then we can talk about moving down. Now, let's go ahead and just do one additional check, okay, which is going to be this A wave that I have coming down here. I want to take this low from November 9th, and I want to take this high up here, which was right up there on the 5th of November. The reason I want to do this is I want to check where we're up to. At the moment, we're just hovering around 38.2% retracement. Okay, so we've retraced up 38.2%, just above that actually. It's a little bit more, closer towards the 50%, so very, very close. Okay, and that actually comes in at 18,190, okay, where we've currently moved this B wave to. So if it's a giant 3-wave structure, we would be looking for 5 waves at the end. So I don't think that's necessarily the case. I do think we are still in a B wave movement before moving on down, and I don't think any of that has changed. So on a kind of larger scale, all of that looks fine, and we're still kind of on track for some of these additional low points. So let's go ahead and take a look at this structure then. So what's the expectation? Well, the expectation here will be a potential retracement. We'll be looking for 3 waves. Now, we could potentially have already done this. It's really hard to see on this hourly chart, but basically we came down, we then went up to here, and then we came down again. That's pretty neat. I don't mind that as a 3-wave structure. Alternatively, we could be looking at just one more dip here. So 1, 2, and then 3 like that. Okay, just bringing us down a little bit deeper. Now, what we want to do is we want to know that wave force are typically 38.2%. Okay, so if we go ahead and draw this on, we would be expecting to come down to about the 17,560 level. So we've come pretty close to that 38.2%. So it's not too bad. And again, if we were to pull back down, we would actually have to go a little bit deeper than that. to kind of make the one-to-one work, we'd actually probably end up coming down to about 17,469, closer towards the 50% level. Okay, not impossible, and it isn't a deal breaker. One of the things that is a deal breaker, however, is that wave 4 cannot cross this wave 1 area. So basically that $17,360 level. If it does cross there, then this is broken and we won't be seeing that fifth wave high point. So let's go ahead and talk about, if we have already reached this low point, how high could things go? And for that, we would have to just highlight this area here, the 1.618 on the higher side and the 1.236 on the lower side. So basically 18,090 through to about 18,239. That there would be our existing, or based on the existing movements, the high that we would expect for the fifth wave here. Okay, now if we do come down a little bit deeper and we were to come down towards those 50% levels, then we are talking about reaching this previous area of resistance, turning it into support at approximately that 17,460 level. So let's go ahead and assume that that is where we end up. Then we'll end up with this additional high point, and it would be right in here. Okay, so a couple of different targets. This one is basically 18,128 to a slightly higher range of 18,338. So if I now delete these Fibonacci retracement tools off, what you can see is you end up with this kind of area here. Okay, so two kind of areas to be thinking about, both still in the upward direction, and it is the last area. Okay, so let's go ahead and now take a look at what's going on with our stochastics. We're oversold on our 1 hour chart, but we're overbought on the 4, the 8, and the daily. Now, if I go ahead and bring up our stochastics and we start taking a look at these, oversold on the 1 hour, overbought on the 4 hour, overbought on the 8 hour, but we've only just got there, so it could be up there for a day. It's hard to say for sure. On the 12 hour, overbought. On the 16 hour, overbought. 20 hour, overbought. Daily chart still overbought. So again, not looking overly positive, and a fast amount of movement on the weekly chart. So again, looking for a bit of a reset here before dropping down again. So essentially on the stochastics, nothing major there to say that we have got good momentum to the upside. In fact, it's moving far too fast to be considered good momentum. So it's short-term stuff. So I think, we have this potential to complete wave 5 before seeing a drop to the downside. Now, here's the question. Are we going to surge up here ahead of the Fed meetings and the interest rates today, only to then collapse on the announcement of it all? That's going to be the interesting thing. I do think it won't be, I think a lot of this stuff is being priced in, okay? And I do think we're going to see a big drop to the downside in the coming days. So just kind of be really, really cautious about it. Now, if I come up here, now we can see what happened yesterday to our inflows and our outflows. We saw a significant surge with people withdrawing Bitcoin from the exchanges. This compounds the problem. Everything comes down to supply and demand. If demand is high and the supply continues to shrink the way that it is, then price appreciation is going to be something that we're going to see. We're going to see that price move up. So we did see 82,000 Bitcoin leave the exchanges yesterday, with only 45,000 going onto the exchanges. Another big surge here. And now a lot of stuff going on with Binance doesn't help. And they say this is all kind of FUD noise in the space. Don't know how much of it is true or not at this stage, but do join us in Discord. I'm sure Chris is investigating what is going on there. But there was definitely a lot of fear, and a lot of people were withdrawing from the exchanges. Again, this is something we talk about quite frequently. Now, in terms of wallets, where's the money coming from? Well, we've definitely seen a huge increase in retail investments, or from retail withdrawing from exchanges more specifically. For those who do not have cold storage devices, check out the link in the description below for Ledger. We are affiliated with Ledger. We do get a kickback if you do decide to use that link. But we do find that Ledger is a good bang for your buck. It's a good value, but essentially, it doesn't matter if you go for a different brand or not. One of the main things you want to be focusing on when you're looking at cold storage and withdrawing from exchanges is to make sure that you buy that device directly from the manufacturer and not from eBay or Amazon or something like that. Unfortunately, there's a lot of fake ones out there, and we have seen a few people lose their cryptocurrency, not through the fault of exchanges for once, but actually people withdrawing or taking it off of the exchanges onto hacked devices. So there's There's a link directly to Ledger down below if you're interested and you haven't yet got cold storage. If you have, just make sure that you're using one that is legitimate. So here we can see that retail investors have been withdrawing. What about larger sized wallets? We've got traders here really backing some moves. The last time they did this in a really big way, they got it massively wrong. So that's going to be interesting to kind of see what's going on there. Could also be that they are just withdrawing from the exchanges as well. Significant spikes like this. But we can, of course, see that we haven't really seen anything significant from the larger whales and krakens, right? The big players in the space. They are not really participating in this movement. That tells you absolutely everything you need to know. Small blip to the upside here, but nothing major at all. This basically tells us that these guys are not backing the move, and the backing of any potential move to the upside here is pretty much just from retail investors or from traders. And I think that is all short term, and I don't think any of that is really long-term appreciation in price. So just wanted to reflect on that quickly before we kind of really move on with things. I do want to kind of reflect on everything that has happened here since we hit this low of $15,476, and that is that this entire structure would be deemed a corrective structure, meaning that it is an A wave up, a B wave down, and a C wave up, and essentially that there would be the end of this move, and we should move on down in a really big way. So essentially we are still talking about hitting these lows. These haven't changed. It's 13,200 through to about 14,700, and that's kind of where I am anticipating the next bigger move to the upside to occur. This here is just a B wave movement, and this happens to catch a lot of people out, specifically when we start thinking about the June lows down here when we had this move upwards, B wave coming down, C wave, which was running flat, but all of this overlapping corrective structure is pretty much the same kind of thing as what we're seeing on this side. Very much an overlapping structure right towards the end here, where we get this final surge to the upside, and we see how these things go. Higher highs, higher lows, break to the downside. So right now, not giving me too much confidence to think that Bitcoin is going in a long-term direction to the upside. Instead, I do think we are going to see a drop to the downside. Whether that comes today or not, I'm not 100% certain, but I would say that today has the possibility of seeing a lot of downside for BTC and other cryptocurrency assets. I'm going to leave this video right there though, guys. If you have found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And don't forget to join us down in Discord. It's a centralized hub of everything that we do, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. Until the next one, guys, have a fantastic day.